Hello guys and welcome to the scene for 14 campaign um campaign to promotion in before I get into what me shall want to get off my chest. I would ask and I would ask all the odds and is to keep an eye on the chat tonight because as you probably we are as you probably aware we are the usual work outside our writing force. So yeah, so just be the join in the chat and if there's any trouble with the equity I would ask you just to get rid of it um but or getting a post but most importantly we own uh, most importantly just own it in the all you jet or react. Yeah, to be honest, just get it. I give it as soon as it pops up because I can't be bothered to with it anymore. So, without any further so the purpose of this stream is to try and rally you guys to um is to try and you guys to get it behind the a hashtag that have been promoting in the title of the streams seen before. The reason is that obviously that they're still trying to figure out a formula into reinventing a show in regards to casting choices, showrunners, etc. Stuff like that, and I think as well we all need to abandon our personal choices just for the moment to get behind the to get behind the decimal on aim because if we all want the show to survive, we're going to have to actually band together and as you can see down in the description guys is as you can see guys is a little bit extra down in the description. I have um I have actually put the BBC complaints address down in the description below. That is or to like reinforce to the BBC or issues with the show right now. And if you feel and if you feel it's necessary to send an email directly to the BBC and to the BBC complaint and to the BBC complaints office. Uh, obviously, people, i.e., and people writing or children, there's no point of being an asshole about it, otherwise they will own listen you and see where it says, do you kill? is the response to your email always is pretty easy. So that you can get so that you can get a response if you get any responses obviously pass them over to either myself and Eddie Scarrow and all from the top onto showing you kind of take a look at the on the thing it's so Sharon, if you get anything you would thought to add to the skill that I've just said.
Yeah, just that when what's seen for 14 is sort of is being with a lot of us right now. It's the fact that the BBC, there's going to be a change coming. There's this era of Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall has is finished. They're going to have to play it out, but we know they're going. So now the BBC is going to have to decide: does it carry on just catering to a very small part of the fandom who just want politics, who just want to be able to virtue signal, who just want they don't really want to care fully about the show at this point. It's just brownie points for politics and virtue signals.
Yeah,
And they've been doing that for the last 5 years. Well, will be 5 years by the time Whittaker and Chips are out.
yeah,
So now the BBC is at a crossroads. And if we can at least make them know that there's a good chunk of this fandom that wants the show to go back to the traditional Doctor, which is male,
yeah,
which is also an actor of very high caliber,
yeah,
who is there because of their talent, not because of any other factors. And Sheen is one of the he's a name as well, and we know he's a good caliber. These are the traits we want to show. So
yeah.
obviously, we're not saying, oh, they're going to have to go with Michael Sheen. It's just he's sort of a template, I've said on other streams, of what we'd like the Doctor to be for 14. And it's sort
Yeah,
of showing, like I said, tradition. This show needs to go back to what made it work for the last 50 plus years.
yeah, and obviously, I know this, yeah, I know this way as well. You will get some pushback for the mother us, but if you are considering, if you are considering to join the campaign, don't let that put you off. Continue to promote the hashtag and then send in your emails. Send in your emails or whatever it is, because you might feel inclined to like me, be maybe I will right away out of only monthly single episode desire, but email was probably the easiest
Yeah,
to show with would so so long as you guys are respectful and so long as you guys are respectful in your emails or whatever it is are you using to make your voice heard as well. And as well, you have to probably give a couple of examples of the errors that you've maybe found uncomfortable or sh- shit like that. It's basically this, and it's basically the of the is a whole campaign for or in the past. Basically, we should have a few examples as
Yeah, because it's like we said, the BBC, they're going to be taking stock now.
Yeah.
They're going to be, because this era is coming to an end, they're going to have to review it and look at why did the viewing figures go down, and why did and then as a result the merch went down. They're going to have to have some sort of review or have a look at this. And if they can at least, and the other thing is, we know there are parts of this fandom that are very loud, but they're small parts, but they can seem a lot louder and a lot more than they actually are. And if they're just hearing that side, which is which are just full of politics again, and are just full of all the mistakes, that they'll be more inclined to think that maybe we just got the wrong actress, or maybe we just got the wrong showrunner. They need to realise that you need to go back to writing of actual characters with proper development. If you want to do an arc, actually do an arc. Don't just randomly introduce something halfway through your series. I think, and as well, if you look at the way it's been announced, Chibnall and Whittaker, and this is what I do want to say, I think there is positive signs if you look of they're going to have to make some sort of change, because if you look at how it was announced, Whittaker and Chibnall going, it wasn't normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and like we all said, it was weird how they had a Comic-Con and it wasn't even talked about them going, and then suddenly 3 or 4 days afterwards we get the announcement. It's like, and even the way it was done, it wasn't like they gave an interview. They gave like very scripted statements to both of them. So this seems to me of they were booted, or this wasn't the plan and they've had to stop it.
Yeah, and obviously, Matt Stevens as well, who is the executive producer, I believe, isn't he? So he's obviously.
I think he's producer. I think he's more than an executive. I think he's one of the main producers.
They releasing into so but he's but he's if to the full this and he's if to the full and I'm not saying and I'm not saying that and I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to succeed here. What I'm saying is, though, is that if I'll get an opportunity to if I'll get a small opportunity, I think now's the time to use that opportunity, and I think this is the last opportunity we'll ever get to save the show. So, like, I'm appealing to you guys and chatting behind behind the and then a couple emails, but give your examples and so that to give a example in the chat and they're on about how little was that episode was handled stuff like that you need to put in your email to add a bit more meat to the bone, basically.
Yeah, because Disaster also said showrun is very important as well.
Yeah.
So, and obviously with like a tweet, it has to be short, it has to be to the point. So that's why we've got Sheen for 14. But in your email, if you highlight all the writing issues, and even if you want to talk about just a general way Chibnall handled it, that could help them then maybe think about, well, this is what went wrong with this showrunner. What do we need to look for in the next one to get it right? Because obviously showrunner, Chibs is the architect of most of the issues we've had with this run, and they need to get somebody who can actually write solidly, who can write development, who's not just obsessed with rewriting the past. Because to me, that's what it stinks of. That the only reason he probably took the job was so he could do his timeless child rubbish.
Yeah.
And it's just like we said, we were all, because also we were thinking, we all pretty much guessed that Whittaker was going. We didn't know about Chibnall. He's going. So now it can actually be a clean house situation, and we can actually possibly get a completely new production team in.
Yeah, and there's to kind of add another example to it as well. Like they've targeted this era as like a children's program. They've made it into a children's program, right? But here's the issue you get, and that's in the time with as children. Yeah, what's her face?
To you.
Oh, you, yeah, as experimenting on, a child, on a child, and like it's a family based show. Now I know. I know that they will give a affix news and more still orientated towards like auction with the extra, but like see here's the Athens auction with them out for young adults an ad that was yeah audience man who is a family based show, and I think is well, if kids are going to watch if kids are going to watch the show, alright, I hard to think it's appropriate to see a child be experimented on because that
Yeah, and
goes
also
against that.
the issue was they were like holding her up as this brave woman of science when it was like no, she found a
Yeah.
child and tortured it, and that's how she found regeneration and spliced it and put it into Time Lords. But it's but another reason why, because like I said, I do want to try and say to people this stream little signs. If you look at how the BBC has acted with merchandise for the last year, they know that this zero has not been making them money. But they could have kept producing merchandise with Whittaker on and this era front and centre, but they haven't. And I think probably more of that is the licensees being clever and realising this and like turning towards either classic. But if you look at even the way the BBC's acted about Whittaker's Doctor, it's for the last year they've hardly promoted her at all. And even now when she's got a series coming out at the end of this year, she's hardly been promoted. So that's another sign that the BBC are showing that they realise this era has failed. They just will never say it out loud. Just in any press thing, in anything, they will make it out that it was brilliant and she was brilliant and Chibnall's the bestest, and that it was a success. But if you look at the other ways they're acting, they are showing that they know this era has failed. And compare that to how it was when she was launched in series 11. The whole way they've been marketing has shifted. So that is another sign that the BBC they're realizing it's not all rainbows and sunshine yet. That they've had to change to make this brand be alive. So that's another sign if you look at how the BBC is acting.
Yeah, that's another good point from the Echo as well. But again, again, you get this, again, again, see, seems like the theme of Brian Cancer. I've seen now, what's that one? Like, of course, um, of course, I have, um, and of course I've named us in the band that will tune into the show or whatever, and then based on offering some cancer as well, and I think the BBC, and I think the old, and I think the old, the BBC. And I think the old nature of the ABC is out of order because of also message does a accent and it us or can't even really reassure Gab name about his answer. I mean, I, I can and she says, I'm so sorry. No, I can,
Well,
that's not going to send out the correct message to cancer patient and a cancer survivor. Where is it?
oh no, and it's like even if you want to use the argument of oh, but it was shown that not everybody knows what to say, then she could have
Yeah,
physically shown comfort to Graham. She could have hugged him, or she could have said literally those words of I don't know how to make this better, because at least that's acknowledging it. It was the fact that it sounded like she literally was saying that to get out of doing anything for
yeah,
him. So it's like I said, there's been so many, and another reason is they had to come out and give a
yeah,
response because they got so much complaints from that.
yeah,
I think I can't remember the last time Doctor Who twice they had to come out with statements. One because of the Graham scene, and because of the Timeless Child.
yeah,
So they've had to defend this show twice last series.
yeah,
So that will be another thing that's going to make them think twice when it comes to who they're picking next.
yeah.
Because Nova Eras had to do that in the new run, from my memory. I know there's been stuff that's been controversial in the past, but I don't remember the BBC having to literally have a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, geek. I think that would in most of us, if we had a friend like that, we'd at least have a word with them. Oh,
Hello, Neil. Oh, I'm just doing a bit for the campaign. Yeah, it's good to see you in the chat. Yeah, and you can there's with Elven series there's with Elven series. You just the random you just got the random aisle. Okay, as we can we just got the random dial. Okay, yeah, as we can saying that he had mental health ish um issues. Now that wasn't actually explicitly spoke about at all in the previous episodes all the previous um, s- s- series. If you're gonna and if you're gonna highlight something like that, it has to be consistent with through the episode. It can't just be for it can't just be it just can't be the railway and walking point. You know, you have to maybe you have to spill in it a bit more utterly because that's not the that's not explained properly within the show, and um it's the same with the aliens and but it's the same with the aliens asparaxia as well because we can see there's some things that people with the asparaxia can't do because of the balance and whatnot. How can you fiddle a basketball all perfectly and I hope for Alexa Paul even
Well, yeah,
oh,
the problem
yeah,
is with Chibnall's writing and the way he handles these issues, he
yeah,
just wants to look like he's doing the right thing. So he'll have
yeah,
a character that has dyspraxia, but he clearly doesn't have a clue how to write that in any form. So he does the most surface level reading of dyspraxia, which is, oh, you can't like climb a ladder, or you can't ride a bike, because
yeah,
that's the layman's sort of way to understand dyspraxia.
yeah,
And as somebody who knows quite a bit about things related to that, that was insulting to me because I could tell he didn't have a clue what he was writing. And dyspraxia,
yeah,
it can affect your coordination, but anybody who's worked with people that have it or who's got that condition will tell you this there's so many different types and levels to it.
yeah.
There's so many, like, it's a scale basically, and you can either be very on one side in the mid, like, it's such a varied scale that if you just
Yeah,
do the if you write it the way Chibnall did, you make it look less than it actually is. And then the
and
fact that its payoff was, oh, he can now shoot a basketball. It's like, that is, like you said, if you had it seriously bad, you wouldn't just randomly be able to do that.
yeah,
But that's the problem. That's the same with mental health.
yeah,
If you've experienced that, if you've got friends, that is an incredibly complex, serious issue. And for him to just do it in a throwaway fashion the way he did, that is also insulting.
yep. And I mean, it's the same with it's the same how Chibnall handles LGB and LGBT yeah, characters as well because like they'll get a line of dialogue like the guy in the very first Chibnall era and Chibnall era I think and special he only it's like something like 5 seconds on screen and gets exterminated and then that's happened a few times within the era of LGBT characters. What's not hand is not hand Tildum. When after all and yeah and a person who think he uses a person who think he uses these issues as a shield to criticism rather than rather than giving characters from like was background any character development or any um, explanation in regard to will help her. I
Yeah,
think.
or look at the Fugitive Doctor.
Yeah,
For certain fans, that would have been such an important Doctor to them.
yeah,
And it looks like she's just going to be. She might have a few more. Like, she might appear in Series 13, we don't know. But even in his own interviews, he said he didn't plan to have Fugitive Doctor in that script originally. They literally just thought, oh, should we bung in another Doctor? Like, that is not how you handle the Doctor. The Doctor should never be a cameo. If you're doing a new incarnation of Doctor, they should have their own time to breathe and develop and be their own character. And we know next series is going to be shortened. So I don't see how that Doctor's going to get enough time next series to flourish like she should.
yeah,
And he knew exactly what he was doing when he cast Joe in that part.
yeah.
Yeah, and like Noel saying, this is just to send a message of what like we said, we want tradition, we want male, we want to go back to its roots. This show.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, at the top of the and as I said at the top of the and as I said at the top of the if anybody would like to join us, all you need to do is post them to the hashtag machine photo in as many times as you can and and if you would don't like to send an email, be respectful, mind you, otherwise you won't get any sort of response back. And make sure in your ask if you would like a response as well to always kill. I can and to always kill a key. Yes, so they might get at a tower. And then send them to Ed the doctor on Northern artists on their spearheading the campaign. But
Yeah, and
you get
that's a new name. Hello,
yeah,
Cardi. Which, yeah, like Joe's a prop. Chibnall uses actors and groups as props, and that is so he looks on the surface like he's helping the cause and he's like supporting these groups, but he doesn't actually give them anything to do.
yeah,
So the BBC needs to learn and needs to understand that we cannot have a repeat of this.
yeah. I've not seen you. I've not seen you around here before. Actually, are you one of the new subscribers that my channel's picked up? You probably yeah, and there's a comment so that we know because I don't recognize you if you are. If you are, hello and welcome to the channel.
Yep. So yeah. So it's and here's the thing. We sort of saying. Some of us were scared we're going to get Chibnall for a few more years after Jodie,
Yeah,
but he's going. So the BBC are not doing a halfway thing here.
yeah,
They are going full hog, which is what we all were wanting. So let's go with this now. Let's just see what happens.
yeah, exactly. And feel free to send as many emails as you want, but just to remember and give the post myself, Eddie, and obviously who have actually spoke about on on social media and stuff like that. That look is we've all indicated that you have to use we've all indicated that you have to use the ample to make killer points instead of on and the more examples and you give them more of a chance that you were that you are polite will be just as this together as or yeah as or yeah actually that um in your email. So that's down in the description below and if one of them odds can put the BBC and can put links address into the chat that would be great if I'm honest.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think as a fandom, we have had a lot of disappointment. We have been burnt a lot, but we cannot let what this current production team have done stop us having any hope for what comes next.
Yeah, exactly.
Because every era is different. Russell's era was different to Moffat's. Chibnall's is nothing like we've seen before. So there's a chance we could get a completely new production team in, a new showrunner, a new doctor that can relight this show.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of it is like we're not happy right now. So what have we got to lose? To at least try, to at least fight this one last roll of the dice, and just to see what happens.
Yeah, I know this is a dark, very kindly put in the BBC can put its address here it is on Skitty. You guys will kind of leave it up for a couple more seconds so that you can note of it if you need.
Oh
If you
yeah,
need,
and Disaster makes a good point. He's talked about the license situation. 4 or 5
yeah,
years ago, the BBC was in a better, stronger position. They are weakened right now because of the amount of people that are cancelling their license. Because when a company's got money or when they're comfortable, they can make risks. They can do these stupid decisions which can rile up a fandom.
yeah,
And the BBC was in a position to do that 4 or 5 years ago. Right now,
yeah,
there's increasing talk of defunding. There's more people cancelling the license fee.
yeah.
So this means, and here's the thing: who's an expensive thing for them to make? It's not a cheap program. So
Yes, yes, most expect sorry for interrupting,
no,
Charlotte. But it's a most expensive show across that. I couldn't really do Bill Eve because millions of pounds have been spent on it. Like obviously, the budgets are used as obviously the revival, if you want to call it that, carried forward. But yeah, and I mean, yeah, and I mean as well, see if I didn't actually think that they would have a chance, I wouldn't be on this and stream promoting it tonight, and as well, you have Pearson and or a parent who installed the aren't production. Apparently now he has actually champion to the next Doctor to be a male. He wants the next Doctor to be a male, apparently. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
there's
like
a
I
bit of
said,
hope.
the BBC's is weak. They are hurting a lot. Doctor Who's expensive. So
Yeah,
just to justify carry on having that expense, they're gonna have to start to get viewing figures back up. They're gonna have to start to get merch sales back up. It can't be a vanity show. The Whittaker era has been a vanity era. That they were cocky, they thought they had the money, they thought they wouldn't be touched, they couldn't be touched. And they could just do this gender swap and do all the changes and it wouldn't have any consequences. Now they are feeling those consequences. So they might have to start now to listen. They might have
um,
to start to give
um, hold,
some.
hold on, I want to give Carl his comment the trivia bit like out. Sorry for cutting you off again.
I know it's what I'm
Um,
talking about, so add to what she's saying.
yeah. Right, so I will enter the money. What does that say? It's like
It has dried up.
in seconds getting has get I don't on Jesus man.
Do you want me to
I
say it?
think yeah, yeah, you read the step it out, Charlotte. It's always easy when I put it up and skid.
So I wonder if now the money has dried up and the licensees have lost so much money, if the BBC are genuinely panicking. It's expensive, but when done right, it makes a lot of money. Yeah,
Yeah,
Cardi,
exactly.
that's a good point.
Mhm.
Here's another thing: the licensees will be will be just thinking about money now because they've had nearly 5 years. Like I said, by the time those two go, of losing a lot of money. So they're going to be also be. I wouldn't be surprised if they're also in talks with the BBC, saying you can't do the same mistake again. You need to do something that's friendly to the market, basically something that's going to make money. Because here's the thing: licensees can pull licenses.
Yeah.
So if they and there has been some licensees that have stopped during
Yeah.
this run, or like I said, or they've had to heavily switch away from promoting this era to survive.
Yeah, but I'll just to point out about the I'll just to point out about the unfortunate situation now. Jay, he that was on during our tribunal and with I take out the Hartshire panel there action because he's connected to people that know merchandise and it's only since the two of them were given the book by BBC and the un and the uncle has renewed the deal. Licensees are coming back to the table or starting to come back to the table and I know JT's get quite a few connections to like merchandise and stuff like that so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the match and shout out to Jay Ian and from the Facebook.
Yeah, and that's another thing just sort of connected to that. The BBC also have partnerships abroad. And if they've been suffering, HBO Max, this China deal, like I said, I don't know what the company name for that, I just know it known as the China deal, but HBO Max. So if they're not getting their money back, they're going to start to ask questions.
Yeah.
So the BBC, in a weird fashion, and like I said, we'll see what happens, but I've got a feeling the choice of showrunner and doctor isn't going to be fully in their court. They're going to have to please other parties here just to get funding or just to make this show carry on.
Well, you see, I'm going to add a bit of to that point because you see, HBO Max have started their own relationship with the BBC um, over the past few years, and they've just started um, they've just started carrying certain shows on the HBO Max on demand service, and they've just started to open their toe into various war productions with the BBC, similar to Amazon, the even I thought that as well. So BBC will in turn have to start with listening to HBO Max, especially because HBO Max tends to have quite a bit of power now, because just before the current production um, just before the current production team sort of made their departure before it was announced. HBO Max HBO Max said they would not carry series uh, or of the channel era, and if it was to continue. So it was already kind of, and so the BBC had the mind made up for all of them because HBO Max do tend to have a bit of kill and a bit of out for every research done that getting the BBC, but what do you think, Charlotte?
I think it's just that they heavily marketed having Doctor Who, didn't they? Like
Yeah,
when it launched, that was a big sell for them. And if people aren't watching one era and they maybe just watching
yeah,
previous eras that happen to be male, do you not think that could make them go, if you want
yeah.
us to carry on giving you money, we know that a male doctor works because they will have this, they'll know who's watching what on their own service.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this is true, but I'm just saying if that is what they're seeing, because we
Mm-hmm.
know the ratings on BBC America are really, really low for Whittaker. So I can't imagine the streaming numbers being much like massively higher. So it's like
Oh,
if they're seeing that, and let's be fair, they're in America it is sort of a brand and it's known, but it's not part of the cultural sort of framework. So they'll be looking at it more as a business sense, as well. What's gone before Whittaker and Chibnall is being watched. The current stuff isn't. So they might be able to say, right, we're seeing what's working and what isn't, and sort of, like I said, let those two, let the BBC actually see the error of their ways almost. Like I said, it could all go the other way, but I just think in a weird sense, the BBC have weakened themselves in so many ways with Doctor Who right now that their politics might not be able to completely control what goes forward.
Yeah.
And hey, hi Cheryl, nice to see you in the chat. See you soon, no.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Cheryl on the chat tonight as well. And Carl said that she agreed with I agreed with my point about HBO Max. Yeah, because HBO Max isn't it? HBO Max isn't is basically a a relatively new sort of business. It's venture for HBO, so they want to want to sort of recoup so they want to recoup the money from this, but isn't certain to eventually keep making a profit and more. Are you find now as with the bigger companies such as Warner Brothers, others except they all want to start making money, and they all want to start making money again. So so the fact of the matter is, so the fact of the matter is, the is trend is so always arguing out, and I think as well, I think as well with the BBC as well, because they've got so many other licensees to listen to as well. I mean, character options have also have also openly said that they won't touch the speaker either from merchandise because they know that doesn't sell, and I think as well, when one reckon as well, which I've seen with the Doctor magazine as well, and if you've been paying attention to that, as soon as they put like over a picture on the cover, sales start to tank, so as well, that is basically is the reason why I heard and Chibnall have been having the book is because BBC and all these other licensees want to start making money and profit. And so now's the time to get on board onto the campaign. Because we'll never have a better chance. And I know I've been very critical about this era sunset stuff. But I firmly believe that we can make a difference. So only if we get behind the hashtag, send in a couple of emails, etc. And maybe do a couple of streams ourselves if you do get YouTube channels um because it'll generate more publicity on the campaign.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That I know it's Radio Times, and for people who don't know, who obviously because we have some non-UK folks, the Radio Times has been such a sort of they've been with Whittaker and Chibnall all the way. They've been promoting it. They've been very heavily positive about it, and like they've been so positive about it. They even managed to get Whittaker second as like the best doctor on one of their polls. So that's how much we know what the Radio Times is like. And even one of their own polls, they had about 20 plus actors and actresses on this poll. And in the top 10, only 2 females got in. So 8 other positions were all blokes. So that will get seen, because a load of news sites in this country reported on that poll saying Michael Sheen is fan favourite for Doctor.
Yeah.
So that's another sign that the fandom is, or the people who were involved in that poll, which was, I think Michael Sheen got 10,000 votes, and it would be more than that if you looked at all the votes tallied. So that is a message that we want to go back to what worked before.
Yeah.
So if we can just keep getting that message out, they might have to listen.
Yeah, and there's the when well, what did the news channels on like Sky News as well have picked it up, so like really various news outlets and TV channels have picked up into the result of this poll. This is actually the time to send in your just to basically send in your emails and stuff like that.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the problem, Cardi. A lot of the people on, obviously that's unfair. This era, if you look at certain parts of social media, you would think it's going really well. But if you actually look at viewing figures, the merchandise, the general hype, like we've had a trailer for Series 13, like a teaser trailer, and it's got really bad views for like a trailer. I can't think of it off my head, but somebody did do a comparison from Series 12 trailer, and they did it like they said how many days in did that one get view wise, and compared it to the Series 13 one, the same amount of days in, and it was like half at least viewers on the Series 13 trailer. So all this is feedback that they will be seeing, which is negative, which is saying this has not worked.
Yeah.
And they can't ignore it now. That's the main thing. They cannot ignore it.
Yeah.
Because people can say they love it, but it needs to actually make money. It needs to make actual press as well. Like the presence of Doctor Who under Chibnall, it's hardly anything now. It's only talked about if they get like an old character to come back, or like obviously right now because it's been announced Whittaker and Chibnall are leaving.
Yeah, and yeah, and as and as basically pointed out on another stream with the cast your mind back to cast 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 your mind back to couple of weeks ago with BBC with the Doctor had a show after the time posted the assault dance carries video every post it seems like on social media is just aimed constantly towards kids and like and I'm not saying don't try and appeal to kids today because after all it is a family show but people of all ages and stuff are like that tune into a show and then do want a show you have to have old fans something as well so that instead of the Emma Bone everyone once in a while, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, the problem is previous eras could cater to old and young.
Yeah,
Chibnall seems to go from one extreme to the other. It's
yeah,
either really simple moral lessons or really simple sort of cardboard cutout characters, or it's something really canon heavy like the Timeless Children. Because then any child is not going to be interested in that. That is for hardcore fans. That is for the people
Yeah.
who grew up in through classic, or who me and you who jumped on 2005 and then went back to
Yeah.
classic. That is,
Yeah.
and so it can't, he can't find a happy medium for so many things, and that's also another issue. And
Yeah.
that would also affect the merchandise if you think about it, because
Yeah.
if you aim everything for so young but they're not interested, but if you're damaging the brand so much that even the legacy things
Mhm.
people won't buy, that will also impact it.
Exactly. And like kids are getting and then as well, I don't think since the show came back, really, like I've heard them stories that there's like as soon as an era comes out in DVD, it's then sent to charity shops and stuff. I think that because they can't really fill all the DVDs and stuff. I think that is ending up in bargain bins shops or like charity shops even. I don't think since I've been in the fandom that it's ever happened.
Well, I've
Happened.
never seen a doctor announcement leave, like the announcement of a doctor leaving and showrunner be
Yeah,
met with so much happiness.
yeah,
Like every other doctor, when it's been announced they're going, it's been like really sad, or people have been like reflective and like really like wanting to celebrate that doctor. And there will be genuine Whittaker fans that are going through that, but the majority, the good, the louder voices, or the more that I saw when the announcement dropped, was just absolutely ecstatic sort of happiness. And that's never happened. So that's how bad this year has gone down, that it's become a celebration when
yeah,
they're leaving. Like that's never happened before. Yeah, Cardi. It's like the whole Timeless Child stuff. The only people who care about it will hate it, and it's like it's really odd. He cannot seem to know where to aim the show, and it just seems to be flailing about trying to find a direction right now.
and Matthew's comment kind of tickles me over, and he always gets some uncommon and stream that tickles me. He says Jodie's DVDs make excellent recipes. Yeah, exactly.
But we don't condone violence though on the channel. Just
Well,
unless Daniel doesn't like a fictional character, then he condones it.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I hope your appointment goes well with your job coach and have a good weekend. And I hope to see you in the channel again and very soon. But
Yeah, Cheryl, that's another thing. Like this era, whenever an episode seems to drop, it causes like not even hype. Like people talk about it for a week at most, and then it's never brought up again unless it's really, really like Orphan 55 levels bad.
yeah,
And it's just like I said, this era's got no impact either on social, like in general talk, in anything. It's sort of non-existent.
yeah, yeah, and as well, and as well, talking to them, I'm talking to a few female fans of this era, like Charlotte, Cheryl, who's on the chat, well,
Melina.
yeah, Melina, well, Bonnet, and really, sort of fans, like, EO, um, EO could resonate better with a male incarnation, because as well, like, I don't want to speak for you, Charlotte, but am I right in saying that, like, you identify more with a male doctor because because you think because you think the show should so show sort of against sort of using violence and advocate for more a passive outlook. Because to me, that's what the doctor represents. Is that why the email fans can resonate
I
with the
think there's a few reasons. I think a good, like I said, I'll sort of, and this is a big topic, so I'll talk about a few things. I think the blatant pandering they did with Whittaker's era, that it was so in your face that we're doing this for girls, we're doing this so you females can have a female doctor. It just sort of felt like we were being talked down to because we'd had so many brilliant female companions, side characters, just normal characters in this show. And the companion, especially in New Who, has had a lot to do and has saved the Doctor multiple times, or has been a big reason why did they get saved. So it didn't feel needed to have a female Doctor because we'd already had, and that's the same for Classic as well. You had Sarah Jane, you had Ace, you had Leela, you had so many, like, obviously people who know the Classic better can comment on that, but we'd had so many sort of strong female characters that it was like we don't need this token gesture. And I think, yeah, and I think with the Doctor being a male character and him having that sort of not wanting violence, being very scientific minded, always wanting to look for the positive outlook, that made him different. It made him stand out. And that's what I think a lot of people did like in the fandom. And it's also, let's be fair, some of the more attractive male leads, the female fans like that. They like the David Tennant, who was sort of sexy, sort of heroic figure. So that's also a big thing. So yeah, it was. They thought they were gaining a lot by doing the female Doctor, but I think they really missed a lot actually.
moderators, as I said, you might want to do your job here, because this is getting ridiculous. I keep you if I'm trying to highlight certain issues for the audience.
Yeah, guys, if you can just block, please.
Yeah, just well, okay. I feel that there's no point there's no point in reasoning with them, to be honest, or acknowledging them.
Yeah, so Daniel, what do you think? Why do you think it was important that to you maybe the Doctor was male then?
Because yeah, because as well, we're like us, like us notion that eyes are eyes are a bit more and as this notion that the eyes are a bit more aggressive and a bit more prone to like be a bit more reactionary, but but like as I said, it's important for either was able to have a positive male character, and to have an and to have an important male character that wasn't used sort of islands and stuff like that though as well because to be honest with me as well I think that uh, with me as well I think the Doctor works best as a male character because um because the encapsulates all different things I've just actually said.
Yeah, and it's like we said, there was so many strong female characters in this show. It's not like there wasn't representation there at all. So it's just sort of keeping that. Yeah, so like we said, this is all about raising our voices and letting the BBC know that there is lots of different. There isn't just one side when it comes to this fandom. We're very different.
Yeah,
There's loads of us with different people, with different sort of views, and we all
yeah,
just think if we can all come together and let ourselves be known, I think that's the main important thing for this.
yeah. Yeah, actually, and I think as well, so long as and so long as channels like the Facebook and the Target Zone and that are around highlighting the issues that as well will help our cause as well. I just wanted to I just wanted to try and get the campaign a bit more action with this main thing. Right?
Yeah, so thank you because we didn't want this to be a really long one anyway. We just wanted to get the message out.
Yeah,
So we want to thank everybody in our chat because we had some lovely usual people in our chat and new people. So thank you. We really do appreciate
yeah,
whenever we have any new folks. So thank you very much because you also we had some nice little discussions because that's also
yeah. Yeah,
so
yeah, and thank you to Card, and thank you to Card to actually we had the first time in one of my live chats. Sorry it's been a bit of an eventful experience for you, but like I do appreciate the support. Charlotte, just before we wrap up, I'm going to give you the opportunity to shout out your appearances on people's channels. So who you appearing on this week?
well last week now I think it was I was on Inamatic Joker's channel and that's Dutch Doctor Who channel if I've remembered it right. You can find me on the TARDIS though, and also you will find me on the Spacebook. Oh, and at the end of
Yeah,
the month, I will be on Script Doctors. So that's the ones I can remember. So those are where you'll find me.
yeah, and obviously you'll be back here on Thursday night for the episode. On the episode 5 in of Duty Reviewer series as the second series. So like I'll probably see my usual suspects like Matthew like and Dulwich Indologies that are cool.
Yeah, Matthew Sadaku, even though he doesn't understand half the stuff we talk about for those streams, and he's usually there.
Yeah.
PJ, he's also a lovely supporter and he's usually in our chat. So, and he has a
Yeah.
channel, so look up PJ maybe.
Yeah. And Penelope, the pet stop is actually gave us some advice. Yeah, I'll have a chat to Naomi maybe tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow after. Ring about that.
Yeah, so like we said, everybody keep safe. And so I'm just getting my light on. There we go. So, like I said, thank you for joining us. And
Yeah,
this was a bit of an impromptu stream anyway, so thank you.
yeah. So I'll see you. So see you in Aussie for the in the British stream. Thanks for all the positive. Thanks for all the positive support, and thank you to my odds, no fantastic, and so on, and for the new subscribers that genuinely want to be here. So stay safe, and I'll talk to you in Austin.
See you all.